Hi, everyone. Gerry Dulac along with Ray Fittipaldo. We're at the Steelers South Side facility where we just got done with the Mike Tomlin news conference. Today's Steeler Report brought to you by Savinas, Kane, and Gallucci Mesothelioma and Asbestos Lawyers. With 85 years of experience of getting millions of dollars for their clients, go to sdklaw.com. And Ray, Mike Tomlin confirming today that Aaron Rodgers has a fracture in his left wrist that doesn't need surgery. Has not ruled out the possibility of him playing Sunday in Chicago. There are several factors involved: functionality, his own comfortability, his own safety, and we'll see. He said it'll probably be Friday at the earliest before they're even able to make that determination.
And Tomlin always says this about veterans, Gerry, but I think Friday's going to be the big day for him. He's not concerned about Wednesday or Thursday's practice. They're going to prepare Mason Rudolph to play in the event that Aaron cannot play. But if Aaron can get out there Friday, and it sounded like they have to fit him for a little brace that's going to protect his arm, if they get that squared away, then it sounds like he's going to have a chance to play Sunday in Chicago. And you know, Gerry, how much he likes to play against the Bears, probably his favorite rival from his days in Green Bay. So I'm sure he wants to get out there and play.
Yeah, he's beaten the Bears 24 times in his career. That's more than any other team for him, and that's more against one team than any active quarterback playing right now. But, there's always the risk, too, when he talks about his own safety, he talks about protecting himself, but also, taking it, not so much taking a hit, but falling on that wrist, which is basically how he seemed to hurt it, late in the first half against the Bengals. They'll get Mason Rudolph ready. We saw what Mason Rudolph did. He does what he always seems to do, Ray. He comes in, rides on his white horse, and saves the victory for the Steelers. And, Ray, it was a big win because if they lose to the Bengals, that's 4 out of their last 5. They dropped to 5-5. They would have been tied with the Ravens. Their once 3.5-game lead on Baltimore in the division would have evaporated. And so that was a big win. And to come in and preserve it, play the way you did, convert third downs. I know he got 2 big defensive touchdowns. That was a big win for the Steelers, significant win for the Steelers.
And the pressure remains on, Gerry. The Steelers have 2 tough games before the Ravens game on December 7th. They have the Bears this week and obviously the Bills next week. The Ravens, meanwhile, have the Jets and the Bengals, 2 games they seemingly should win. So that's going to set up a big game in Baltimore. If the Steelers split, I think they'll be okay. That game would still be for first place. Anything other than that, I think the Steelers are in trouble.
Yeah, the Bears started 0-2. They've won 7 of their last 8 games with their new coach, Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator from the Lions, who came over to take over, and it's been readily apparent in their offense. A lot of explosive plays, and Caleb Williams, their second-year quarterback, is looking like the number 1 overall pick that he was last year. And so their offense is entirely changed, and that's going to be a test for that Steeler defense.
Yeah, listen, Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick, from a few years back, struggled a little bit as a rookie. I would say some good positives during his rookie seasons, but a lot of negatives as well. Sometimes it just takes a good coach to come in and stabilize things. We know what Johnson did in Detroit. He's going to put him in good situations. I think the main thing this year, Gerry, is he's not really making a lot of big mistakes. He's not turning the ball over like he did as a rookie. And as you know, that's a great formula for success.
Ray, when you look at the other injuries on this football team, Mike Tomlin said that Alex Highsmith, who's been their best pass rusher the previous couple weeks, he did not play against the Bengals with that pectoral muscle injury. He said he'll be limited early in the week. They're hopeful he can play. We shall see. He said if Darius Slay is cleared from concussion protocol, he will start, despite the fact that James Pierre has made a number of significant plays the past 2 games, including that scoop and score touchdown against the Bengals. And also he said Jalen Warren will be limited early with that ankle injury. But it was surprising to hear him say that Jalen Warren wanted to go back in. He could have gone back in against the game, but they liked what Kenny Gainwell was doing and not so much what Jalen Warren was doing. Of course, we saw Kenny Gainwell having a big game.
Yeah, and Kenny Gainwell was tremendous on that drive that put him up 27-12, swing passes out of the backfield. He was doing a lot of damage there. It just seemed like he wanted to ride the hot hand. I don't know if it was anything negative towards Jalen Warren, just that he was a little bit banged up, and they felt like Kenny Gainwell was doing the job out there.
Where we've seen Kenny Gainwell be most effective, Ray, most productive, he did it against Minnesota in Ireland when Jalen Warren did not play, and he did it again Sunday when he took just about every snap in the second half. Yeah. So when he's in there repeatedly, that's when he's actually played his best, when Jalen Warren wasn't available.
Yeah, and listen, when Kenny Gainwell has had opportunities like in a a sharing carry situation with Jalen Warren. It doesn't seem like he gets into a rhythm. There was a point late in the first half of that game on Sunday. I think Jalen Warren was averaging like 9.6 yards per carry. Kenneth Gainwell was averaging like 1.3, but when he gets the opportunities, when he gets into a rhythm, he's a much different player.
That's why it was just surprising to hear Mike Tomlin say he didn't like, ideally, what Jalen Warren was doing against the Bengals. Just surprised me. Steelers haven't played in Chicago since 2017, Ray. 8 years. That was the Alejandro Villanueva game. And when he came out in the tunnel for the national anthem, there was lots of controversy swirling around the league at that time. So should be interesting to see them go back to Chicago against the Bears. We'll find out if Aaron Rodgers will play against the team he has tormented for most of his 21-year career. Ray and I will be at that game Sunday. For Ray Fittipaldo, I'm Gerry Dulac. You're watching Post-Gazette.com.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.